They will not remember you for your intentions. The crowd sees only the stage, not the scaffolding. Power is not earned through merit. It is seized through timing, perception, and the calculated discipline of exposure. Control the spotlight, or vanish behind it. This is not metaphor. It is instruction, because in every room where influence breathes, someone decides who speaks and who listens in silence. Leadership is not born, it is constructed. You do not become feared or followed by accident. You engineer the necessity of your presence. You make yourself the axis around which decisions revolve. And if you cannot be needed, you will be replaced. The throne is not defended by goodwill, it is defended by indispensability. The great illusion is that power is visibility, but real power lies in controlling what remains hidden, in knowing not just when to act, but when to disappear, appear rarely, speak less than they expect. And when you do, make every word a verdict. In politics, the one who speaks last often speaks loudest, not in volume, but in finality. Loyalty is a currency with a short shelf life. People follow only what serves them. Today's allies are tomorrow's rivals disguised in yesterday's favors. Trust is a tool, not a truth. Give it sparingly. Let others believe in your sincerity, not because you are sincere, but because belief is easier to manage than suspicion. The mistake of many is to confuse admiration with authority. Admiration fades, authority endures. If you must choose, be respected more than loved, feared more than admired. Fear, cold, precise, calculated, is a more reliable compass than affection. It sharpens loyalty through necessity, not sentiment. To lead is to stand alone among wolves, while making them think they hunt beside you. You share their language, not their hunger. You wear their skin, not their instincts. And while they sleep, you redraw the map of the battlefield. Betrayal is not a malfunction in the system, it is the system. Every political alliance is an equation of interests, and when the math no longer adds up, knives appear where hands once offered support. Expect it, design for it. Make your enemies pay for misjudging your patience. Make your friends cautious of your silence. The myth of transparency is the death of strategy. The honest man is easy to read and easier to remove. Let your real thoughts reside 3 layers deep. Let your public self be a mirror, reflecting only what the moment demands. Behind that reflection, hide your ambition like a blade in a diplomat's sleeve. Control is not about force, it is about framing. Own the story, and you own the outcome. Narrative is more powerful than evidence. People do not follow the truth, they follow the truth that flatters their fear, their pride, their grievance. Shape that, and you shape their consent. You will be tempted to moralize. Resist it. The game is older than your ideals. The state does not survive on virtue, it survives on the controlled use of vice. Learn which vices serve you. Learn which lies construct peace. A just order is not born from sincerity, but from strategy. The world is not saved by the good, it is merely restrained by the competent. Fear is not a weakness, it is a signal. Let it teach you where your enemies watch. Let it show you where they think you will break. Then break them first, not with noise, but with inevitability. The strongest blade is the one unsheathed only once, and forever remembered. You will be praised for your results, not your methods. And if you succeed well enough, history will forget the difference. The people do not care how the gears of power grind, only that the machine delivers. Feed them order, feed them progress, feed them spectacle. Let them feel secure in your control, and never reveal how close to collapse everything truly is. In politics, silence is not absence, it is positioning. Stillness is not surrender, it is coiled force. You must learn to move without being seen, to persuade without being questioned, to rule without shouting. Those who understand this never need to raise their voice. Their presence carries consequence. Never allow the throne to become your identity. Power is not who you are. It is the instrument you wield. And the moment you believe otherwise, the blade will turn against you. Stay detached. Stay brutal. Lead with clarity, not conviction. And always be willing to do what the world is too timid to admit is necessary. Enemies are inevitable. Create them carefully. Make them visible. Make their defeat public. Nothing stabilizes a regime like the illusion of a common threat. People need to believe in conflict. It simplifies their loyalties. And when you eliminate your enemies, make it look like justice, not consolidation. You will need masks not to hide who you are, but to protect what you are building. Each face you wear must serve a purpose. Statesman, warrior, reformer, friend. Behind each mask, the same will, to endure, to command, to outlast. Reputation is armor. Cultivate it. Let rumor precede you. Let whispers of your resolve travel faster than your footsteps. People respect what they fear, and they fear what they do not fully understand. Never let them understand you. Let them imagine. Imagination enforces caution more effectively than fact. You will lose. You will be betrayed. You will make mistakes. But survival belongs not to the pure, not to the bold, but to those who learn fastest from the wound. Never seek fairness. Seek leverage. Never ask permission. Take space. Never cry for justice. Create structure, because justice is not the foundation of power, it is its performance. Control the spotlight, not for applause, but for survival. Do not let them define you. Do not let them forget you, and if they do, make your return impossible to ignore. The stage is set. The curtain rises. The world watches not for truth, but for performance. Play the role that keeps you sovereign, or vanish behind the light. They will tell you that character matters, that integrity is the spine of leadership. But when the city is burning, when the mobs chant conflicting truths, when the alliances fracture beneath whispered promises, they will not look to the most honest. They will look to the most unshakable. The one who does not blink, the one whose silence feels heavier than their enemy's noise, the one who controls not just events, but their interpretation. In the theater of politics, appearances are not decorations. They are weapons. What you seem to be determines what others dare to do. Seem stronger than you are, and hesitation will paralyze your enemies. Seem gentler than you are, and confidence will lure them into your trap. The game is not to be loved. It is to be obeyed without resistance. Power is not loud. Power is permission, the unspoken gravity that shapes every room you enter. You do not demand authority. You radiate it. And that radiance must be built brick by brick, betrayal by betrayal, victory by unacknowledged design. There are no clean hands in the struggle to rule. Do not waste your energy pretending otherwise. Every kingdom stands on compromises, buried like bones beneath its marble floors. What matters is not purity. What matters is direction. Where are you leading them, and at what cost are you willing to lead them there? The crown is not a gift, it is a burden. It rests not on your head, but on your every decision. One mistake, and you feed the wolves who wait just outside the gates, not with rage, but with patience. Their hunger grows in silence, and they measure your weaknesses by how often you blink. Beneath every crisis lies a contest, not of values, but of command. Who seizes the moment? Who rewrites the rules before others recognize the game has changed? Fortune, they say, favors the bold, but more precisely, it favors the prepared. The one who plants chaos, then reaps order. Do not seek stability as an end. Stability is a moment, the stillness before the next collapse. Use it to rearrange the chessboard. Use it to institutionalize your will. Use it to rearm. Because every piece you broker is only a pause between wars, whether on the battlefield or behind the veil of diplomacy. You will be tempted to rely on allies. Be cautious. An ally who is too eager is often a spy in disguise. An ally who is too loyal may dream of your place. Keep them close, but never equal. Divide their ambitions. Feed them different parts of the truth, and let none of them believe they are safe without you. Information is the currency of survival. Hoard it, shape it, leak it when it serves you, withhold it when it weakens them. You do not need to be omniscient, only more informed than the next contender. A single secret, released at the right time, is more lethal than 1,000 soldiers. Do not confuse movement with strategy. The frantic leader exhausts themselves before the real war begins. Measure your actions. Be deliberate. Let others act first, and watch. People expose their deepest intentions when they think they're on the offensive. Give them that illusion. The worst kind of defeat is not in battle. It is irrelevance. When your name is no longer feared, no longer whispered behind closed doors, when decisions are made, and you are no longer consulted, that is the end. Not with a sword, but with silence. You vanish not in disgrace, but in forgetfulness. Resurrect yourself before they bury you. Use scandal, use conflict, use resurrection itself. A return to the spotlight must feel like an answer to chaos, a restoration of order, even if you were the one who broke it in the first place. The people don't want continuity, they want resolution. Be the resolution. To lead, you must become a contradiction, humane, yet ready to kill. Honest in persona, deceptive in execution, patient in planning, ruthless in opportunity. Let the contradictions stabilize each other, let them make you unreadable. Predictability is a gift to your enemies. The strong do not fear complexity. They use it, they wrap themselves in it. Confusion, when mastered, becomes a shield. Create overlapping loyalties, feed opposing factions. Be the only common thread they all depend on. That way, they tear each other apart and beg you to mediate the peace. Reform is a weapon, but never let it aim at your own power. Change the system only when it tightens your grip. Speak of justice when you mean obedience. Speak of progress when you mean consolidation. The people want to believe. Let them. And while they believe, govern with your eyes wide open. Never overestimate the intelligence of the masses, but never underestimate their instincts. They may not understand policy, but they understand strength. They may not follow your reasoning, but they know when someone commands. Appear decisive, appear unafraid, appear inevitable. Charm is not weakness, it is anesthesia. A smile delays suspicion, a compliment delays rebellion. Make your enemies feel seen just long enough to study their eyes. People reveal more when they feel heard. Use that, then act without sentiment. You are not a philosopher, you are a ruler, and your role is not to seek truth, but to use it. Partial truths, timed truths, convenient truths. Because full truths rarely serve the throne, they serve those who wish to shake it. Control the spotlight, not by chasing it, but by creating it. Make events orbit around you. Create dilemmas that only you can resolve, crises that only your hand can diffuse. The more indispensable you appear, the more authority they will surrender willingly, gratefully, blindly. Never apologize for strength. The world does not reward weakness with kindness. It exploits it. Every apology is a confession. Every display of vulnerability is a map to your undoing. Be human, but never soft. Be visible, but never naked. Do not rule by laws alone. Rule by norms. Rule by fear of your disappointment. Rule by mythology, not fantasy, but carefully constructed stories that make your leadership feel like destiny. If they believe you are the thread holding it all together, they will bind themselves to your survival. When you fall, and you will make it temporary. Make your descent theatrical. Make your return impossible to ignore. Because in politics, resurrection is more powerful than uninterrupted reign. The man who survives exile becomes a symbol. The man who never falls becomes a footnote. This is not a sermon. This is not advice. This is a confession from the throne. The architecture of power is neither moral nor immoral. It is structural. It rewards control. It punishes hesitation. It honors no gods, only momentum. So when they ask you who you are, do not speak. Show them in action, in silence, in consequence. Show them that you did not inherit control of the spotlight. You forged it, and if it ever fades, you will reign in the dark until it finds you again. Because the only alternative is to vanish behind it. There is a law more ancient than any constitution, older than parchment or sword. It is this: the one who defines reality commands it. To lead is not merely to administer it, is to impose narrative. To persuade others that your version of the world is the only one that makes sense, that your choices are the natural order, that resistance is disorder. Control perception, and you need not control bodies. They will move on their own, guided by the compass you slipped into their thoughts. Do not fight the people head-on. That is clumsy. Fight them in the imagination. Reframe their fears. Redefine their hopes. Bend their will by reshaping the terrain beneath it. The ruler must be a cartographer of desire. Draw maps of the future that serve your direction. Mark every path to salvation as one that passes through you. Make yourself the guardian of their fears, the steward of their illusions. Then when they kneel, it will not feel like submission, it will feel like safety. But understand this: no spell lasts forever. The crowd forgets, the crowd turns. One day you are the architect of deliverance, the next you are a tyrant in their chance. Do not cling to the illusion of permanence. Power is not held, it is constantly seized, again and again, by the one most willing to do what others will not. Even love has a half-life. Today they cheer your name, tomorrow they spit it. Emotion is volatile. Never anchor your rule in it. Anchor it in systems, in structures, in dependencies. Build institutions that cannot function without you. Make your absence feel like collapse. Let them fear not your power, but the vacuum you leave behind. The man who seeks to be remembered must make memory painful to forget. You etch your legacy into the minds of others, not through kindness, but through necessity and consequence. You become a fixture in history when your removal leaves scars on the present. There is no justice without force. There is no order without violence, visible or hidden. You must know when to be the storm and when to be the shelter, and when to make the storm look like salvation. The art of ruling is not consistency. It is adaptation without appearing unstable. Show them the same face even as the eyes behind it change. Shift positions while claiming principle. Reinvent policy without acknowledging the pivot. Stability is not stillness, it is motion that feels deliberate. Forgiveness can be useful if it serves fear. Pardon an enemy not out of compassion, but to isolate him. Let mercy be your theater, not your creed. Every gesture of grace must cost the other more than it costs you. Mercy is a leash. Use it as such. You will hear the word betrayal whispered with disgust. But betrayal is merely the price of ambition outgrowing loyalty. Expect it, harness it. Make yourself the inevitable destination of all rising stars. Make betrayal flow toward you, not away. If you cannot stop treachery, redirect it. Fear without purpose is waste. Fear without direction breeds chaos. But fear precisely calibrated becomes law. When used correctly, it organizes, it disciplines, it compels without command. Learn to instill that quiet, efficient fear. The fear of losing position, access, relevance. The fear of disappointing you. Every strong regime has two faces, one that governs and one that hunts. You cannot be both to all people. Create proxies. Let others wear the mask of cruelty when needed. Let your hands remain clean in public, but let your will be executed with precision in shadow. The distance between your words and your actions must be deniable, but never real. No ruler survives long by being only a ruler. You must be myth, symbol, machine. Strip yourself of humanity when needed, not because you are inhuman, but because humanity is often a liability in moments of consequence. The more you are loved as a person, the easier it is to be broken. Let them love the mask. The mask cannot bleed. Every empire is built on sacrifices unseen, the coffins buried in silence, the friendships burned without ash, the truths withheld for peace. You must learn to bury your sentiment with the same care you bury your enemies deeply, without ritual and without regret. The past is useful only as leverage. Do not mourn it, do not worship it, study it, extract from it, use it to justify your next maneuver. Use it to discredit your rivals. Use it to remind the people what the world looked like before your arrival and what it might return to if you fall. The ruler walks a lonely path, not because no one walks beside them, but because no one sees what they see. You must think 5 moves ahead, while smiling in the present. You must mourn betrayals before they occur. You must accept isolation not as exile, but as clarity. If they know your heart, they can strike it. If they know your endgame, they can block it. Hide both. Reveal just enough to be followed. Conceal enough to remain untouchable. Speak like a shepherd. Think like a hunter. In times of peace, prepare for revolt. In times of revolt, act like peace is within reach. People cling to hope more than justice. Dangle hope, even if you intend to crush it. Hope softens the edge of your blade. It makes obedience feel voluntary. Do not chase legacy. Build machinery, a system of interlocking dependence, economic, military, psychological, where every part reinforces your presence. Systems survive storms, charisma fades. Build slowly, cement deeply, rule through rhythm, not fireworks. There will be moments when hesitation feels noble, when waiting feels wise. That is when the wolves feed. When instinct demands action, obey. Even if your move is flawed, momentum often defeats precision. Strike first, correct later. Do not overestimate dissent. The loudest critics often lack structure. Let them speak. Let them become addicted to their outrage. Meanwhile, you build, quietly, permanently, until their shouts are muffled by your architecture. If you are cast down, fall like lightning, leave a mark. Teach those who watch that to challenge you is to gamble with the weather. Make your exile a prelude, not a tomb. And when you return, return with such force that memory itself adjusts to accommodate your re-entry. This is not about glory. This is not about righteousness. This is about understanding the gears behind the curtain, the levers that shift nations, the silences that broker power, the invisible mathematics of rule. You are not a savior. You are not a tyrant. You are not a servant. You are the architect of control in a world allergic to certainty. You are what holds the disorder together, or you are its next casualty. So step forward not with hope, not with apology, but with design. Control the spotlight, or vanish behind it. There is no third option. They will ask for transparency. They will demand openness. They will scream for truth. But they do not want truth. Not really. They want reassurance. They want the illusion of understanding without the burden of consequence. Give them the performance of truth, polished, curated, palatable, and behind that curtain, govern with calculation. Expose too much and you strip away mystery. Strip away mystery and you strip away power. Because power at its core is belief. Belief in your capacity, in your inevitability, in the silence behind your smile. Let them speculate. Let them argue about your intent. Let them write their own interpretations. While they debate your meaning, you reshape the world. Control the spotlight, not merely by occupying it, but by defining what it illuminates. Choose what the people see, and you shape what they believe. Distract, reframe. Introduce conflict where there was none, or peace where there is tension, but never let them look where you do not want them to. Your greatest strength is not what you possess, it is what others think you possess. Influence is perception. Wealth is perception. Even strength is, in part, a story. Tell the story so often, so convincingly, that reality folds around it. Do not waste time persuading your enemies. Convert them or crush them. Those who oppose you will rarely do so. Openly, they will undermine, delay, distort. Make an example of one, and the others will find cause to become allies. Power multiplies when it is demonstrated with clarity. You must learn to live with suspicion, not because it is pleasant, but because it is necessary. The higher you rise, the more mirrors you must place behind every ally, every advisor, every whisper of praise. Assume ambition in every compliment, assume rivalry in every gift, not because they are always threats, but because you cannot afford to guess which ones are. Leadership is not about being right. It is about appearing certain when others hesitate. It is about making decisions when the ground is unclear and taking full ownership when those decisions succeed. And when they fail, redirect, reframe, repurpose. Make failure seem like part of the plan. Victory does not require the truth to win. It only requires that the truth arrives too late. There will come moments when silence is your only ally. Learn to say nothing. Learn to let others speak their way into weakness. In every negotiation, patience is more lethal than eloquence. He who speaks first reveals his position. He who waits learns where the fault lines lie. Divide, always, not to create chaos but to control allegiance. In unity, others find strength against you. In division, they look to you for alignment. Let no one group become so powerful that it can challenge your rule. Let every faction depend on your favor, and when necessary, let them fear losing it. Generosity is useful, but generosity without calculation is weakness. Give only to strengthen loyalty, reward only to incentivize obedience. A favor given without expectation is wasted. Make every kindness transactional, even if the terms are never spoken. You will be tempted to explain yourself. Don't. Explanation invites judgment. Judged leaders become moral leaders, and moral leaders become martyrs. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be effective. Let others be the conscience. You be the consequence. Manipulation is not cruelty. It is efficiency. Most people want to be led. They want order. They want direction. If you can give it to them even through illusion, then you are serving them more than those who drown them in democratic indecision and moral paralysis. Let them vote if you must. Let them speak if it keeps them quiet. But never forget, control the outcome, not the method. 1,000 hands may touch the wheel, but only yours should determine the road. Ambition is not a sin. It is nature. It is the force that built cities and raised empires. But ambition untethered is fire in dry grass. Yours must be disciplined, directed. Hidden when needed, radiant when useful. Others will despise it in you only when they see no room for their own. Master the art of presence. Enter a room like thunder wrapped in silk. Your silence should make others wonder what you're calculating. Your glance should freeze conversation. Be the one whose opinion shapes the conclusion before it's spoken aloud. You do not need to win every battle, but every loss must serve your war. Even retreat, if done with precision, strengthens your myth. Let them believe you are wounded. Let them think you are cornered. And then strike not with vengeance, but with design. Nothing terrifies like a man who returns stronger than he left. Do not fear loneliness. Fear dilution. The more you surround yourself with equals, the more you must explain, negotiate, restrain. Surround yourself with competence, yes, but never with rivals. Compromise is only useful if it leads to consolidation. Otherwise, it is surrender in disguise. Control not only what others see, but how they see themselves in your presence. Make them feel elevated by your attention. Make your approval feel like a crown. They will compete for it. They will betray for it. And all the while, you remain the center around which their ambition orbits. The world you rule must never feel stable, only stabilized by you. Stability must seem like your gift, not their inheritance. The moment they believe peace is natural, they will begin to wonder why you are necessary. Keep the storm close, then hold it back with one hand. Let them see what chaos awaits should your grip loosen. That is not tyranny, that is strategy. When you die, and you will, the only thing that remains is what you've embedded into the structure. Not monuments, not speeches, but systems. Systems that carry your will beyond your breath. Systems that act in your name, even after your name becomes a myth. This is your task. Not to be good, not to be loved, but to be remembered. To build in shadows what others can only dream in light. To leave behind something so indomitable that even your enemies, in time, are forced to speak of you with reverence or fear. That is the work, that is the weight, that is the crown. Control the spotlight, or vanish behind it, and be ruled by those who did not hesitate. But in the end, even the spotlight burns out. Even the throne becomes a tomb. All power decays not with a scream, but with the slow erosion of relevance. That is the fate of those who mistake command for permanence. You are not immortal. You are not divine. You are a fleeting force, held together by attention, memory, and fear. The spotlight is not yours, it only passes through you. So when the light dims, when the applause falters, when the crowd begins to look elsewhere, you must already have moved beyond them. Because the true sovereign is never trapped by the position he holds. He moves the world while pretending to sit still. He governs in silence, from exile if he must, through loyalists, through systems, through the habits of those who once served him openly. He leaves behind no vacuum, only a shape that others are too afraid to fill. Understand this: victory is not declared. It is inherited, not by blood, but by structure. If they still speak your language when you're gone, if they still use the tools you forged, if your ghost still shapes the choices of men, then you have ruled well. To lead is to disappear strategically, to retreat before retreat is noticed, to embed your will so deeply into the walls of the state that it echoes even after your name is forbidden. So prepare for that day, because it comes for all. The hour when your reflection is no longer enough to hold their attention. The hour when the masses search for a new silhouette beneath the light. And when that day comes, let them search. Let them wonder if you are gone or simply watching from behind the curtain. Because those who rule wisely rule twice. Once in life and once in legacy. Control the spotlight or vanish behind it. And if you vanish, vanish with such precision, such design, that the light still bends toward where you used to stand.